So we left Galatur and Korgara with the water of life and food of life just as they were about to go down to the underworld and give it to Ereeshkigal and Inanna. When I was going through one of my life's hero's journeys, it was right after the separation from my ex, my daughter's father. And I just couldn't stay in the house. I wanted to go out for a walk. And my daughter didn't want to join me, and I didn't want to leave her at home alone. So I was trying to convince her to come out with me. And I promised her I'll tell her little stories. So we were walking outside, and I was telling her little Zen stories. And after one or two, she said, "Tell me, Inanna." She already knew the story. And I said, "Inanna, are you sure?" And she said, "Yes, Inanna." And I started telling her the stories in little chapters. So she'll have like an exit point in every few minutes. But she didn't stop me. She just wanted to hear the whole story. And when I got to that part where Father Enki creates Galatur and Korgara and gives them the water of life and the food of life, I took her palm and I gave her the water of life and the food of life and closed her palm. And honestly, I did not have a clue what they are at that moment, not for her and not for me. But it was a really magical moment.
That she, by the way, doesn't even remember, but I cherish it.
So what is your water of life and food of life right now in COVID-19? And you know, it's changing all the time. In childbirth classes, when I tell Inanna, I say that it's like breast milk. The breast milk that a mom has for her preemie is not the same one as she has for him when he's full term, or when the baby is 1 month old, or 3 months old, or a year old. It changes all the time. So what's the food of life and the water of life that you needed in the height of this pandemic? What is it now as we're starting to talk about going back to normal? There's so many different food of life and water of life. Sometimes I felt like just opening my door and seeing a new flower in my garden was such a water of life thing. And I came across this little video that I wanted to share with you. It's the daughter of Kathy Neff that gave me permission to use it, that drove all the way to her parents' house and was giving them a little private concert just out their door from a safe distance. Isn't that beautiful? Sometimes the water of life is a physical thing. It's a hug with someone that you can hug, or a walk outside in nature. It could be a dream, or these calls that we all come together to share our experience. So many different water of life and food of life. So write down to yourself the water of life and food of life so you can share it on our live call. Inanna story. I once told the Inanna story to a woman in labor, but in a very early stage, and she didn't really like it, or she found it hard to relate to it. But later on, in postpartum, she told me she had a dream. And in her dream, she saw a dog drinking water from a little pond. And somehow, she didn't even know to explain how, this felt like the water of life for her. So sometimes we don't even know why is it helpful, but we can feel it is. Sometimes we can ask for a food of life we think we need. So Galatur and Korgara take the water of life and the food of life and go all the way down through all the gates, and Biddu doesn't even see them. And they get to the bottom. They get to the underworld. And the first thing they need to do, according to Father Enki's instructions, is actually bring compassion to Ereeshkigal. I find that so beautiful. They can't take Inanna back to the upper world before bringing acceptance to the forgotten sister, to the forgotten parts of us that are not acknowledged, that are not accepted, that we have resistance towards. And in the original text, it is described in such a sensitive, beautiful way what they bring to Ereeshkigal. Listen to that.
Ereeshkigal was moaning, "Oh, oh, my inside." They moaned, "Oh, oh, your inside." She moaned, "Oh, oh, my outside." They moaned, "Oh, oh, your outside." She groaned, "Oh, oh, my belly." They groaned, "Oh, oh, your belly." She groaned, "Oh, my back." They groaned, "Oh, oh, your back." She sighed, "Oh, oh, my heart." They sighed, "Oh, oh, your heart." She sighed, "Oh, my liver." They sighed, "Oh, oh, your poor liver."
What they bring is empathy. I think empathy is underrated. So many times I hear people saying, I only give her empathy, only listen. No, not only. Listen and give empathy. This is huge. Usually people give advice. Usually people come up with theories. Usually people tell you about themselves. Not many just listen to you and are empathetic. This is exactly what we do in birth story medicine sessions. And it is so valuable. And Ereeshkigal feels that as well. And she says, who are you? Moaning, groaning, sighing with me. If you're gods, I'll bless you. If you are mortals, I will give you a gift. And she starts offering all kinds of gifts. She offers them all the water in her kingdom, all the things that grow in her fields. But they remember what Father Enki said, and they refuse taking anything but Inanna. But remember, Inanna is green goo on a hook. And when Ereeshkigal gives Galatur and Kurgara the permission to take her back up, she reminds them, but you know, as well as I know, as well as everybody knows, that nobody goes down to the underworld and returns unchanged. Something needs to stay here in the underworld. And Galatur and Kurgara agree, and they go to that green goo on the hook. And all it says in the original is, the Kurgara sprinkled the food of life on the corpse. The Galatur sprinkled the water of life on the corpse. Inanna arose. But really, I know, and so do you, that it took time, maybe days, maybe weeks or months. But Galatur and Kurgara gave Inanna the water of life and the food of life till she was slowly returning and becoming a woman again. Then gently they took her off the hook, because you remember, no one takes herself off the hook. But her legs were wobbly and trembling. She couldn't stand on her own 2 feet yet. So they continued giving her the water of life and the food of life that she needed then, till she was strong enough to start climbing back up. See you on the return.